Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Coming up in this episode, highlights from around the verse with Sandy Gardner and Forrest Stephan. Also, the UK Foundry 42 studio report with Aaron Roberts, and a special ship shape on the Aegis Javelin with Nathan Beardsley, and the much anticipated 3.0 schedule update is out. But first, let's look at the highlights of the Foundry 42 UK update with Aaron Roberts. Now, the look of the cockpits are going to change in the future, as here we've got a look at a new interaction system where we can select specific types of equipment and systems in the cockpit. Now, this is also a new placement system for objects. Obviously, you're going to have to pick up various objects in the game world and place them where you want. And also interesting to see is if a object cannot be placed anywhere, you can actually have a throw mechanic. So obviously a new element of gameplay coming into the game here, be able to throw things to people. Now, they've showed us some work on the player status system. Now, basically, it's like a fatigue system where you can see this guy's getting tired by mantling over the obstacle. Also, this applies to whatever you're doing. If you're doing some on-foot combat and you're running around, you're going to get tired, so it's going to affect your breathing and weapon handling. Also, work going on suit punctures and depressurization and an oxygen recharging system. Now, obviously, trading is going to be very important going forward, so we've got the new setup for what they call the kiosk system, and these are visual displays which show you what you're trading from your ships to various locations across the PU. Now, we also got more of a look at the multifunction displays. Now, these aren't just going to be in ships. This system is going to work across all the systems in the persistent universe, probably Squadron 42 as well, on any systems or displays you'll encounter in the game. Now, they are working on a new system called RTT for projecting your helmet's display onto surfaces. Obviously, this is still work in progress, but they're checking how different size fonts work in this system. Now, also, different fields of view are going to be coming. Now, there's going to be dynamic fields of view, and also you'll be able to choose in your options the size of the field of view you will want. So they've obviously got to check that it all works properly with the HUDs. Continuing work for the truck stop environments and also other locations. Aaron told us about ongoing work on the reclaimer, but here we've got a good look at the whole sea. Now, in particular, they're working on the lighting inside the ship, but as you can see, this ship is looking very nice indeed. Those engines look humongous. Now, this is the work they're doing inside with their new lighting system, which has cut down the performance hit in the game, and we're also having a look at the interior modelling and animation. Now, obviously, the Hull C is a mist ship, so a lot of the work they've done for the staff era can be brought over into this ship. We can see the similar looking escape pods here, so the modular system for the ship pipeline really helps a lot. Work is ongoing on the Misk Razor racing ship. Now, this is a beautifully looking ship, and to me it just looks like a flying Formula 1 car. Very sleek and of course built for speed. Now, we got a look at the awesome looking railgun. Now, this one does look very exciting. And also, we also got a quick look at the Devastator shotgun. Now, this one does look pretty awesome as well. Now we got a look at the railgun here during their testing for the animation. Obviously different stances are being tested for when you're using the railgun. Now that's going to be an awesome weapon to fire at a passing ship when you're on the surface of a moon. And also they're continuing to work on what they call the stamina system, as we looked at earlier. Obviously as you expand energy, it's going to affect how you're using your weapon. And also they're improving the jumping animation mechanic to make it a bit more fluid, as well as some weapon reloading changes as well. Now the team in Derby are continuing to work on facial animations for Squadron 42 and 3.0, where they attended a facial capture shoot down in London. Well, that's only some of the highlights what Aaron Roberts told us. I'll leave a link in the video and the description so you can check it out yourselves. Well, that was a great update from Aaron Roberts. A lot of great things they're working on at Foundry 42 in the UK, and they'll probably make it into 3.0. I particularly like the new way you'll be able to throw items. Should make some interesting gameplay. And let's look at some of the highlights from the special ship shape on the Aegis Javelin with Nathan Dearsley. Now, most of us will never own a Javelin, but we will all get to board one in Squadron 42 and explore. Now, this whole piece with Nathan Dearsley goes into great detail on how they built the Javelin, how it's based off the template for the Idris, because they're both Aegis ships, but of course it does go into detail on the differences between these two ships, because they are different types of capital ships. Now I'll leave a link in the description so you can enjoy the whole piece by Nathan Dearsley yourself. But in this piece you'll get to see how even over the last few months the design of, for example, the main bridge of the Javelin has changed, as due to community feedback they realised that they needed much greater visibility from the bridge, and it allows much better outside lighting to flood into the ship. Now it's going to be an amazing experience to walk around the Javelin, a ship which is huge in size and bristling with weapons. Now the much anticipated 3.0 schedule update is out, and it's worth bearing in mind that all the dates listed on the update are subject to change. They're only estimates, so at the moment they're looking at I believe about the 29th of June for a 3.0 release, but well, best to take that with a pinch of salt and maybe think about it being later than planned. But that gives us an idea of the time scale they're aiming for. Now at first I was a little bit disappointed to see that not all the Stanton system and landing zones will make it into 3.0 release. Now this is because of that behaviour who have been working on Star Citizen for a few years. They're a third-party studio, I think based in Canada, have stopped working on Star Citizen and the landing zones. They've moved on to their own project. So this has meant that CIG have had to hire some more environmental artists of their own. In fact, they're trying to bring more and more of this work in-house recently, so in the long run it may well be a good thing. Now they've actually hired about 37 additional environmental artists, so they're obviously taking up where behaviour left off and getting the rest of the Stanton system landing zones hopefully ready for later in the year. And they do go into detail in the production report, and in fact it just doesn't cover 3.0, it covers the rest of the year and what they hope to get in 3.1 and 3.2. Now however, we may not have all the landing zones in 3.0 for the Stanton system, but there's a lot of features going into the game. Many of those we've seen in this episode of Around the Verse, which I've shown, and also others over the past few months. Now we are getting some landing zones on the three moons of Crusader, Yela, Daymar and Ceylan, and also as a stretch goal the asteroid Dalamar with the Levski landing zone, and that is a stretch goal, and hopefully that will be in 3.0. But bearing in mind that these moons are vast, so I was just reading the actual newsletter by Chris Roberts, and it said about Yela having these underground caves full of water. It reminds me a bit of the moon of Saturn, Enceladus, which has been in the news this week, where they believe that there may be life in an underground ocean. Now I don't know whether there'll be any life on Yela or whether we can get into these underground caves, but well, there's going to be a lot of area to explore, because I believe that it takes about 12.5 hours to walk around one of these moons. Not sure if it's Yela or Ceylan, but that's a lot of walking to cover, so got a lot of places that we can explore on these moons. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Well, here I am on the Caterpillar again, and unfortunately I think I've just been boarded, and whoever it is either a pretty bad pilot or is going to deliberately crash this ship into Port Olisar. So before that happens, I better say thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, and it will help the channel a lot if you'd like to subscribe. So until next time, wherever you're watching out in that big universe, you take care, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye for now.